I'm going to share with you guys what I think are my 2 lifelines to get me to lose weight. And also I've had some vertigo and dizziness with this OMAD diet, so how I'm fixing that, and of course my recap on how the past week has been. So these 2 big lifelines that I really think are going to get me fit, I don't know which one's more powerful because they just are so impactful to me. The first one's really about teaching myself how to say no to food. I realized that I don't ever really say no to food. The second one is really changing how I see myself. Maxwell Maltz talked about how our outer reality is a reflection of our self-image. He does a lot of cosmetic surgery. He was trying to figure out why, like, he would fix something and they would keep coming back. They would keep coming back because they weren't satisfied. They were trying to make themselves happy, but no matter what they fixed out here, in here did not reflect what they were trying to fix out here. So unless you fix this, the outer shell is never going to be enough. I think that may be the most important one, but delaying gratification is what's actually getting me to have progress on my diet. This OMAD diet is really teaching me how to say no. I'm still letting myself eat whatever I want, but it's just for 1 meal a day. So I can say no to myself for a couple hours. So then I eat whatever I want, however much I want. And then after that, it keeps me full until say 6 o'clock. And then it's like, okay, I can go a few more hours until I fall asleep, wake up, do it all over again. So it's teaching me in a very baby step way how to say no. I was listening to Andrew Huberman, which is all about brain neurochemistry. I don't even know if that's the right word. From what I understand, our habitual way of being creates neural pathways in our brain. So our brain is going to make it as efficient as possible. So it's kind of like a dirt road, but the more you go down this path, it kind of creates a little break and it makes it easy to walk that path. So the more we say yes to something, the longer we've been eating whatever we want, however much we want, the stronger those pathways are in our brains. It's going to make the things that we do habitually as easy as possible. For me, I've been saying yes to French fries, yes to pizza. It's a habit for me, and the more and more I do it, the stronger those neural pathways in my brain is. I probably have 0 pathways when it comes to saying no to French fries, no to pizza, no to this, no to that. All of a sudden, I'm trying to create this new strong pathway in my brain, and I haven't worked on developing yet. It's like trying to go fly an airplane and keep crashing and getting upset. Why do I keep crashing? Well, I haven't built that skill yet. I haven't built those pathways in my brain where I'm used to saying no. It's easy for me to say no. I don't even want it anymore. Every time I try to just like change my diet like that, it's like so hard, and I can't figure out why it's such a struggle, but I'm not used to doing that. So this OMAD diet is teaching me how to little by little get used to that feeling of depriving myself. I don't even like the word deprive, but delayed gratification. Teaching myself how to wait for the reward. It's funny, just like they always say, the reward is in the journey. Well, yeah. It feels really good after a couple of days of saying, I've gone 1 meal a day for 3 days. The joy really is in, oh, look at me. I'm doing something I'm not used to doing right now. I normally would be eating right now, but I'm learning this delayed gratification, and it is really satisfying. I didn't realize it, but it's kind of a foreign concept. As I started gaining weight, I started saying yes and yes, yes to more junk food, more fatty foods, overeating, and my brain has forgotten how to eat clean. And so now I'm reteaching myself that. I don't know if I would actually be going through with this OMAD diet if it wasn't for changing the way I see myself. When I pour into myself more, it subconsciously says, hey, I value myself this much more. And I really think the Braves game last week was evidence of how important that is, because the week before I was like, I know I need to pour into myself, so I'm just going to trust it, and I'm just going to go through the motions, putting my makeup on, wearing my hair down more. I went for my run last week because I know it makes me feel good. With the Braves game last week, that was even more evidence, because Every time I felt bad about myself, conscious about my weight, I was telling myself, Shalina, you've got to get your stuff together. And that was an act of like pouring into myself, even so small. And it was a really empowering feeling. The two things that really made it so impactful for me, because we were there for 3 days, not only that it was repetition over and over again of me being like, oh gosh, if I wasn't overweight, my feet wouldn't be hurting, I wouldn't be self-conscious about what I'm wearing, blah, blah, blah. And then it was high emotion. There's no hiding from it. There's no like, oh, well, I'm just not going to go to the social event. It is constantly in my face. High emotion, and the repetition just like really imprinted on me and made me just be like, As I started gaining weight, I started betraying myself. And I think that all has to do with lowering our value on ourselves. It's not even big stuff. It's like, have you ever sat at a table to eat dinner with everybody and everybody loved this spinach dip or something and you didn't like it, but you just said, oh yeah, it's good, just because you wanted to fit in? Like, you feel like this weird conflicting feeling in yourself when you're saying something just to be agreeable or just to fit in because it's not true. That is the stuff that takes away at our self-love, at our self-image, the stuff that brings our value down. And what we want to do is bring our value up. Learning that it's going to be okay if you do disagree with other people. It's just these little things that I think we can end up betraying ourselves with. Things that make us different are the things that make us so special. Like, think about people that you admire that really stand out to you. They're different from everybody else. They're just themselves. They're not trying to be anyone else. It's like if Whitney Houston was trying to be Mariah Carey, she would have never been Whitney Houston, which are all the things that make her so amazing. I think it's like a pitcher that we have to fill up every single day, and no one can do it but ourselves, and we can't pour from an empty cup, and we have to fill up ourselves with all of these acts of self-love when we're tempted to want to fit in, but we choose ourselves instead, and we show other people how to treat us. We show people how we respect ourselves. So I find myself like saying no to things. Like this past week, I've been saying no to pizza, no to french fries, not every single day, but I find myself saying no to these things more often. It has a whole different energy to it now. Like now I'm saying, no, I'm trying to better myself, create this better life for myself. I'm showing myself love and self-care instead of a, no, you shouldn't do this. Why do you do this every time? Now it's like this uplifting energy, and it's always going to be trying to push this rock up the hill for the rest of my life. There's no end to it. It's trying to get better at as many things as I can. That's why I think people have so much success to great heights. This is so exhausting, and I realized today, like, this is me chopping at the same tree for what, 30 years now? Chop it down, let it grow back up. Chop it down, let it grow back up. And the root of it is to always work on bettering myself. And then I can go on to other trees. I spent so much of my life working on this one tree, and life is short. Let's get the root out and let's move on to more exciting things in our life. That comes in line with being mad at ourselves for not being able to just follow a diet on Monday. We have not taught ourselves this ability to delay gratification. Maybe we're so used to saying, ooh, I want this, I'm going to get that, and saying yes, 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 yes. So we don't really know how to say no. We're not used to saying no, and we have to learn, and we can't get mad at ourselves for not being able to do something that we basically have no experience in, like, or if we have, we've forgotten it and we've got to relearn it again. That's what feels good about this delayed gratification, is I'm starting to learn it now. I'm learning how to stop focusing on just this one thing and just make it about always trying to be a better me, grow myself and move on, This is my big phrase when it comes to putting myself first, is what percentage of my mental energy is on myself. I think it used to be about 5%, now maybe about 50-60%. When I feel like, oh, I don't feel that power, that internal energy on myself, then I know, okay, how much energy today have I spent focusing on myself. I'm listening to podcasts, learning something new, getting better at this. Am I a good impact on other people? I shift it instantly, feel better. And I feel like, okay, that gets me right back on my path. That's kind of like my little rudder. Even when I'm with other people, doesn't mean that I'm selfish, but it means that I'm thinking of who do I want to be in this situation. So I really believe that's one of the big keys. That is the root of the tree. This week was really hard because I have been like, oh, I'm so excited about this OMAD. I actually feel progress. I can see my diet is changing. And then I've been having really bad vertigo. Like when I lay down, spins, dizzy, super tired, really, really bad brain fog. I've got to fight through this because I'm really loving this diet. My blood volume is going down, my blood sugar is going down, and my blood sodium was going down because I didn't realize when I'm eating only one meal a day, I'm just naturally not getting as much liquid. I'm naturally not getting as much sugar. I'm naturally not getting as much sodium. When you have a low blood volume, that's where like the fatigue comes from. When you have low blood sugar and low sodium, that's where the dizziness and all of that comes from. Really bad brain fog. The way I combated this was by drinking more water. That increased my blood volume. I started drinking really good electrolytes to replenish all of this stuff that I'm not getting from eating normally throughout the day. I also started drinking broth or bone broth or putting salt under my tongue in the evenings, and instantly got more energy, felt better, brain fog goes away, and that just kind of like gets my levels back to where I need it. After doing all of that, I was able to kind of like get everything back to feeling better. I did have 2 days this week where I did eat regular all throughout the day because I was so dizzy and brain fog and felt so bad, and my weight would be better. Last week I weighed in at 194.4, and this week I weighed in at 192.2, so I'm down 2.4 pounds so far. And I'm still adjusting. Like sometimes I will have 2 meals a day, just depends on how I'm feeling, what's going on. I'm making it a gradual process, but I'm excited to have progress. I'm excited to say, okay, my diet's actually changing, and the fact that I had all of this dizziness is just proof that my body is changing. I'm doing something, which is nice to have a concrete, I am actually making changes in my diet, and here's the proof. Of course, I don't want to be dizzy and have brain fog, but it is cool to see that, hey, I actually am making changes instead of talking about it. Thank you guys so much for listening. I know this was a super long video. I hope you guys are doing great. Can't wait to hear from you guys, and I'll talk to you next time.